Hey everyone, Rick here, and I thought I would do something a little bit different today. Now that I have a tripod with this new camcorder, I thought, what a better way to test the waters than by doing an unboxing of a brand new board game just released today. Some people may have gotten it early, but I pre-ordered it a little over a week ago, and finally it came in today. So let's open it up and take a look and see what's inside Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. Now, this has been some hot board game news, so you may have already heard all about it, but in case you're not too familiar with it, back in 1995, Games Workshop came out with a dungeon crawler called Warhammer Quest, and it's been kind of a cult classic and fetches some pretty decent money on eBay. And so with Games Workshop going back to doing some standalone box games, speculation was flying. Would they reprint or do another version of Warhammer Quest? Well, it has come to light that yes, they have decided to do just that. Now it is based in their Age of Sigmar universe. As you know, or may know, I'm a big Warhammer Fantasy fan, but I'm really not into the Age of Sigmar landscape just because I love the rank and file of Warhammer Fantasy. But that's neither here nor there because I'm loving these standalone box sets. Even the 40K ones they're doing are just great, of course, with my love of board games. And so when you first take the lid off the box, what are you greeted by? All these sprues of miniatures. And if you are familiar with Games Workshop figures at all, you know the quality of their figures is nearly unsurpassed. Of course, they have their detractors, as any miniatures company does, but just taking a look at these sprues, just the little tiny details, it is just truly incredible. I don't think anyone can deny that you get your money's worth in terms of Games Workshop dollars with how much individual figures and even boxes of their miniatures go for these days. This box set is a great value for your Games Workshop dollar. Just look at this guy right here. That is just creepy and gross. So the setting of this game is the Silver Tower, which apparently, you know, there's all these different chaos demon gods. And so there's one big baddie who's at the end of this tower. And he's putting you through all these different trials, which are what the scenarios will end up being. And so, you know, unlike kind of an underground dungeon with orcs and goblins and skeletons, which they may put out expansion packs later with all that, which would be awesome. But for now, it's chaos, demons, and horrors. And once I empty this, I'll show you the back of the box, which just has some incredibly painted figures. So these were the heroes here. Heroes, and then maybe also something else, because I know there's 6 heroes that come in the box, and just a ton of these chaos demons and horrors and big bad bosses and little, not necessarily NPCs, but just little critters. And of course, your little bag of multiple different size bases. There's like 3 or 4 different size bases in here. Then you have your cards. You're going to have your item cards and your skill cards, which are in this pack here. So with just like with your traditional kind of dungeon crawler, you'll have These, I believe these are the skill cards. So these are going to be extra abilities that your character will have in addition to whatever's on their actual hero card. And you'll gain those through, you know, whatever method the game has. And then item cards. So, like any good treasure hunting dungeon crawler, you'll have your item cards, which will give you boosts. And you'll need it, it looks like, with all these demons in your way. Then you have all of these different colored dice. There's nothing special about them, no, you know, special symbols on them or anything, but there's several different colors. There's like 5 different colors there. I actually managed to demo the first scenario at my local Games Workshop store a few days ago, and I just had a blast. It's a lot of fun. And there's some really clever things, you know, with a lot of dungeon crawlers, there are pre-set up layouts for each scenario that typically the dungeon master will get to look at. Well, with this Warhammer Quest being completely cooperative, there isn't a dungeon master. And so, well, how do you set up the rooms and everything then? Well, it's completely at random. There's going to be, I believe, on decks of cards, it might have the different rooms. Yeah, here we go, right here. These, I guess, what is this? An event deck or something like that. So each card is going to have the picture of the room on it. And each room has different features, and also read passage 88. These will all have different things you'll have to go through the adventure book and read and find out. So, I mean, there is just a whole stack of these things. So replayability right out of the box is amazing because you'll be able to have a random layout. Even if you play the first scenario 10 times, all 10 times could technically be completely different because of the random layout of the tiles. This one other card that was in that pack is, I guess you could think of him as kind of a familiar. One of the heroes gets this little guy to run around the tower with you, and so that's just a card reference for that. With future releases, it would be awesome if they came out with more of those kind of pets. And then I'm opening up right now the actual hero cards. Like I said, in the base game, there are 6 heroes. Now there's an app that you can download that has actual hero cards, just like these, for all sorts of hero figures from the Age of Sigmar line. So if you already have Age of Sigmar figures, download the app and you can get hero cards for your favorite heroes. I think that's just amazing because that just expands the game and the possibilities are endless. But I will say I prefer the physical cards over the app. I'm not going to be an app detractor, but I would love it if sometime in the future they released just a pack of these for their different miniatures, because that would pretty much force me, being a completionist, to want to go out and grab all those figures. But what they've been already kind of hinting at doing is coming out with hero packs. So even some of the figures that they have already released, right now already has been announced one expansion. It's a 4-pack of heroes. You could buy all 4 of them individually, but if you get them through this 4-pack that is up for pre-order today, I believe, you can get all 4 of them at a discount, actually. Now, you'd have to use the app for their hero cards. These 6 hero cards are just for the 6 in this box. Or if you were lucky and you got the 10-pack of foil hero cards because you pre-ordered it or whatever, then you will have those 4 cards already. It's still kind of up in the air whether or not that 4-pack of heroes will actually come with cards. You'd think they would, but that's not entirely known at this point. So, next we have this shrink wrap pack that has 2 books in it. So this is going to be the rules and the adventure book. And can I just say, I am loving, oh, there's 3 books in here actually, the color scheme of this. It is just so, what is it, Zeech? Is that the Chaos God? I was never really familiar with the Chaos side of things. So, just look at that. Trying to get the glare out of there as much as possible. Hopefully you can see that. That is just that not amazing. That, oh gosh. Now there's no way I'm going to be able to paint my figures to that ability. Normally I get my painting commissioned, but I think I'm going to take a stab at doing this one myself. You'll probably never see those on camera ever, but yes. So this first book is the guidebook with all the rules in it, and it is fairly straightforward. Oh man. So across the top there, you can see the heroes. And then down here are all the chaos beasts, including the big bad guy. So from what I understood, each scenario as you go through the tower is a trial that big bad demon is putting you through. And you'll be collecting the shards of this amulet through each trial. So once you get them all, then you'll fight him for real. And so that's kind of the way this goes. And then here's the adventure book. You're not supposed to read this yet because, again, they're all numbered and lettered passages, and the event cards and whatnot will instruct you when to turn to that page and take a look. But some important things are these little tables on the back of the adventure book, and especially on the back of the guidebook, because each turn, or each round of battle, you'll be rolling these fate dice, and depending on the outcome, these little kind of sprite things might appear, and you can capture them, and if you're successful you'll get a boost. If you fail, then you are cursed. And so they'll just be running around on the tiles just like the actual enemy figures. But then the third book, so handy, thank you so much. Assembly guide. Assembly guide for all the figures in the game. Absolutely. As someone who has really never put together more than a couple miniatures in his life, this looks pretty daunting to me. I'll admit that right off the bat. All these little bits and bobs. So just the fact that this exists, oh, so much more at ease. And just a little kind of advertisement for the app. Now, the hero rules, I should mention, through the app you have to pay for. It's like 99 cents a hero, or you can buy the whole lot of them for a discount. But like I mentioned, I really hope one day they come out with a pack that just has a complete set of these. There's already promotional materials in their White Dwarf magazines that have extra character cards. They say you can cut out of the magazine. I might scan it and print it out if they don't actually end up, you know, coming out with it. Looks like there are a few more bases on the bottom here and another little baggie, which is always handy. And then the tiles. My goodness. Some people were kind of upset. They were really hoping for more of a traditional, you know, in the dungeon setting dungeon crawler. And so with these Technicolor beautiful tiles, they're kind of taken aback by that. And I can kind of understand that, you know. This is something fairly uncommon when it comes to a dungeon crawler in this kind of a thing. But apparently this demon, this is this demon's style of dungeon. All swirly and colorful. These tiles are pretty thick. I don't know how well you can pick that up, but that is some good thick cardboard there. And these punch out really nicely. Of course, when it's fresh out of the box, it looks nice and straight. But if you're familiar with board games, once it's out of the shrink wrap, they might tend to warp. So can't take too close of a look at warpage right now because it's right out of the shrink. So hopefully, though, there won't be too much, if any, warpage. And then, of course, wound tokens. I'm sure people will be pimping theirs out with even cooler ones than these two-dimensional ones. But then there's also other little train pieces. I know that we use those two things right there. I don't want to spoil anything for the original first mission that I played a demo of. Just look at that first tile. So nice big squares for your figures. And it's interesting with the different base sizes. I mean, like this one's gigantic. It definitely goes further out than one single tile. So I haven't read the rules yet, so I don't know how that works. But these individual ones look like they fit pretty well. Just barely in a single tile. So then, this is also the first player marker, and I'll show you something special with that a little bit later. That is also who controls the monsters. So again, there's no dungeon master, so each turn you'll kind of pass that around to see who does that. And then here's some of the different shards of the amulet and some other beautiful rooms. And instead of doors, you know, there's no 3D doors in the game, which a lot of people weren't too happy about. Just the edge of the tiles show you where it's like a portal. So that is technically the door. And then these are portals where some of those little sprite things will pop out at you. And again, just some more beautiful looking tiles. And like I kind of hinted at earlier, at least for me personally, and I'm sure many others. Oh, I should also mention they're all double-sided. So there's even more goodness. And you don't need a whole 30, 40 of these tiles because, like I said, random setup. So your layout's going to be different all the time. But what I was going to say was, what I'm hoping, and many others I'm sure are too in the future, is that they'll come out with more like sets, more expansions, different locations. So maybe outdoor locations or more of an actual dungeon location or a castle. Just the possibilities for this are endless. I truly hope that this is done well enough and will continue to do well enough to warrant them coming out with more content. Not just creating stat cards for their existing models, but coming out with new models and new pieces, train pieces, and expansions. But that's how the game will look. A lot of stuff going on. Very beautiful. And so that is the whole box set itself. Now, a couple things. Thankfully, I went to my Games Workshop store when I did because they were having these promo packs of stuff. And so he said, if you pre-order this whole bundle, you'll get the promo packs. And I said, well, I came here specifically to make sure that I got this because, you know, I have to get any. Otherwise, it'd be off to eBay, and I'd be paying, what, some of these sets are going for like $70 or $80. What this is another, it's like kind of, you might think it's a duplicate of the original Hero Stat cards, but this is 10 foil cards. So it's the 6 characters that come in the base game, plus the 4 other heroes that'll be coming out in that 4-hero pack expansion, which I did just pre-order today. It should be releasing a week from now. And again, the jury's still out on if that hero pack is going to actually come with the hero cards or if they'll make you rely on the app. So it was really important, at least for me, to make sure I got a pack of these hero cards, foil or not, just to make sure I actually had a physical hero card for those 4 new heroes. And then just some other kind of, I guess, kind of nice to have things are these art prints. They were given one of those away for every different thing you purchase. But it sounded like different Games Workshop stores were giving away things differently. Some people may not have even gotten all 10 of those foil cards. Some people said with each game purchase they got 1 or whatnot. But then another really nice thing is this clay token. So this is what I was referring to earlier, the first player marker. The game comes with just a cardboard one, but this is a nicer, like a clay version. So what else? Now, when my pre-order came in today, in the box was this little baggie of 4 extra bases. Someone was saying there may have been some bases missing, which would just be so lame if that was the case. But thankfully, pre-ordering it in the Games Workshop store, they threw those in also. What else? They are celebrating their 100th United States store. Can you believe it? 100 stores. 100 Games Workshop stores in the United States. Pretty impressive. Total War, Warhammer. I was always kind of a fan of the Total War computer games, and now they actually have a Warhammer Fantasy Battles one. I'm not much of a computer gamer anymore, but that does sound really neat. And then while I was there, this guy is one of the promotional heroes that has a stat card in an upcoming White Dwarf magazine. And so I figured I'll just grab his figure right now because I'll definitely want to have him. And when I pre-ordered mine, I got the big bundle, so it came with the 2 current White Dwarfs. There's just some stuff in here. And you can also use the figures from Warhammer Quest in Age of Sigmar, just like you can use some of the heroes of Age of Sigmar in Silver Tower. You can flip-flop them, and I guess there's War Scrolls for Age of Sigmar for some of the Warhammer Quest figures in these magazines. I don't know if this guy's rules are in one of these or if it's in the next White Dwarf. And then, lastly, for that bundle was this novel. Kind of a nice hardback novel, and I enjoy reading a good fantasy tale, so there's that. Now, is there anything else? Not that I can think of, except I did pick up another Warhammer Quest Silver Tower base game and a third Warhammer Quest Silver Tower base game. Now, why did I do that? Well, I went to one of my friendly local game shops first, and I said, I want 2 of these. Pre-order me 2 copies of this. One I'll open and play with, and then the other one, being the hoarder that I am, I will just put away, leave it in shrink, never touch it for 50 years or whatever. But then I went to this Games Workshop store because they were having the demo that I played in, and because by then I thought all the promos and stuff were gone, and maybe my friendly local game store, when those 2 copies would come in, would have promo material. But the Games Workshop guy was like, if you pre-order this bundle right now, I have 1 pack of promos left. And so I had to do that. That's why I ended up with 3 of these. I can be talked into anything if you throw promos at me. So 3 copies of this. Of course, the 2 copies that I got from my friendly local game store did not come with promos. Now, they said they'll be in touch with me because they actually seriously thought they'd be getting promos in. So maybe I'll get an extra set or 2 of those promos if they do come in. But for now, I'm just down to the 1 set, which is fine. Not a big deal. But there is one other promo card that I do not have that I am going to have to try to eBay. And that is the promo card for the Battle Wizard. There is an Empire Battle Wizard figure, which I actually have in my Warhammer army already, that has its own hero card that you could only get by pre-ordering through the Games Workshop store. Now, those were limited, so by the time I pre-ordered there, they were all gone. Now, I'm kind of afraid, because like I said, this 10-pack of foil heroes is going for $70 and $80 on eBay right now, so maybe just for the one, it'll be 10 or 20 bucks. I'd pay 20 bucks for it. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that, but I'm sure a lot of people are too. Anyway, this has run on long enough. It's been nice having both hands free. But anyway, that is Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. Man, I can't wait to dive in. You can solo this game because it's fully cooperative. So, yes, perfect. Sounds good. Might pimp out with some better dice. But, you know, I have a lot of assembly to do, and for a kind of a first-timer with one of these kits, I'm a little nervous. We'll see how it goes. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.